Okay, so Krista, what I wanted to do today, we've got, as you know, this is a series here hosted by Realvolve. So we wanted to chat with you since you are a real estate business expert. Wanted to hear from you what people should be doing to get ready for 2019, help them have the best year ever. And so, first of all, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us your background. So you've got a coaching business and a real estate business. Talk to me really quickly, two minutes, about how you got into the real estate industry.
Okay, so I used to be a teacher. I taught third grade for 6 years. I have a master's degree in education. And my daughter actually got really, really sick. So my youngest daughter, Kaylee, when she was born, she had one kidney, and we didn't know it, but she ended up getting spinal meningitis and having multiple strokes and kidney failure. She has one good kidney. And so I left my full-time teaching job to become what I thought was a play real estate kind of mom. My goal was to stay home with my daughters and be a stay-at-home mom. And I thought, well, I'll sell 3 houses a year. I'll make this amount of money I made as a teacher, which is crazy to even think that, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of my goal. Well, what happened was I ended up being married, and my husband at the time ended up leaving me. And so I kind of was forced to completely dive into real estate and not do it part-time, but just to do it full-time so I could support my family. So that was kind of the plan at that point, and was to play real estate. And then I ended up saying, nope, that's not going to work. So I ended up becoming a full-time real estate person.
Yeah, so that's good. Really, when you got into real estate, you had to make it work, which is good because when you don't have a plan B, I think it's easier to make something work really, really well. So talk to me about your career then over the last few years. What have you been able to accomplish?
So in real estate, so I've been in the top 1% of realtors nationwide for 16 years out of the 17. In my first year, I even was. I just really am good about implementing and taking action and being consistent. And I know that nothing happens overnight, that things take time. And I'm quite frankly really willing to put the work in. And it just takes time. Like with any business that you're in, it just takes time for you to gain momentum. And if you just keep persisting and being consistent, whatever it is you're doing, eventually you'll do really, really well. So last year I sold 151 homes. My best year in the business, I sold 169. And that's not like a whole team. That's just me and like 2 or 3, admin marketing type of people that have always been doing it with me. And so just recently, a year ago, I miss teaching. Like my passion is teaching and coaching and training. Like I love inspiring people and building people up. It just makes me tick. And so and this is kind of, if you're in real estate, I want you to hear this because I want you to understand something. If you're doing this part-time and you're thinking about maybe making the switch into full-time. So I realized that like I'm a super successful agent, right? Really have mastered it, really an expert in it. I've kind of got to a point where it sounds bad, but I wasn't like loving it as much as I used to because I was just doing it for so long and I miss teaching. So I decided a year ago to start teaching agents across the country, and I'm doing what I love again. And what I'll tell you is that I went in full force, right? Like I went in with such a huge drive and why, like my why is that I want to positively affect every life that I touch, that I was not going to let anything stop me. And I went in it full force. I basically am still selling real estate, but I'm really doing it kind of on the back end, if that makes sense. Like my team really helps me and my focus is coaching. And had I not dove all in, I would not be able to be doing what I am right now. So if you're on the fence and you're thinking about getting into real estate from part-time to full-time, if you have the burning desire to absolutely relentlessly go after it, you'll do it. But you've got to go all in, because I really think it's hard when you're doing real estate to play real estate. You can't just do it part-time. You really have to do it 100% in order to make an impact.
So then what would you say? So you said your first year, you really killed it and you were in the top 1% your very first year. What changed from your first year to, let's just say last year, 2017? What was different for you personally between when you started and last year?
You mean as far as when you say personally, do you mean like on a business personal?
Yeah, business personal.
Honestly, nothing. Like nothing changed, because I still have to work as hard if not harder now than I did then, because there's so much competition and so much noise, and people's attention span is like 6 seconds. Where literally science shows that our attention span is now the same as a goldfish, because of how much flashy stuff is out there. So I've got to work just as hard now as I did then, but it's the fact that I actually work, right? Like, I know that it takes me putting forth the time and the effort and being consistent and being diligent and not stopping and not giving up and not saying, hey, this didn't work, so I'm going to not do it. Well, of course it didn't work. Things take time to marinate, and I just don't stop. That's it. I don't stop with anything, right? I can keep on trying to be better.
Yeah. So when you're talking with a real estate agent, what are you trying to figure out about their mental state then? So somebody new comes to you with saying, hey, Krista, I want to be more successful. What do you want to know about them as a person and as an agent?
So the first thing I ask people, I try to call every one of my students, and I ask them 3 things. Number 1, I need you to make the commitment to me that you're going to finish, right? So they say, okay, yes, nope. I want you to physically tell me I commit to finishing the program, right? So I make them commit to finishing the program. Number 2, I make them commit to implementing what they're actually learning, right? Implementation is a huge key factor in it. So committing to finishing, committing to implementing, and consenting to be consistent by it, right? And then I tell them, and you've got to show up. Like, I want you all to hear me. You've got to show up, right? You've got to put in the work. You are so awesome. You've got to put in the time. You have to put the you factor into it. You know, technology is amazing, but if you don't put you into the equation, you're not going to succeed in anything that you do. If you fail once and you stop, you're not going to succeed, right? Like, so many people take failure as a warning sign that they should stop what they're doing. I have failed so many times on different business adventures, even real estate, right? Trying to, I remember when there was foreclosures, and I was trying to do this program where I would help people, and I was just going to try to help save their houses. Well, that failed. And then I did this thing for a year and a half where I worked on it like 4 hours every day outside of my regular business, real estate hours. And I tried doing this program where you could use a computer and it'd help you like sell your house. That completely failed, but I kept on going until I reached the thing that actually worked. So whether you're doing real estate or anything else in your life, you have to be consistent and give it the time and energy that it takes to marinate, right? And if you don't see immediate results, you've got to keep pushing. And I've got to tell you that if you're on this call right now, you're listening to this, I want to commend you, because while most agents are sleeping and they're getting ready for, their excuses are, it's Thanksgiving, or it's Christmas, or it's New Year's. Well, that's only 3 days out of the next, 60. While most agents are sleeping, you are giving the time and energy and putting forth the effort into your business to help. So you're going to start seeing the results right in January 15th, and everyone else is still sleeping, right? So congratulations for being here, and don't stop or give up, because it's all it takes is consistency, and you'll do it.
Yeah, my good friend David Bear has a really good tip. He says you should start your year in October for a real estate agent. You should say October is the beginning of your year. That way, right now in November and December, you're just getting ramped up, rather than feeling like I can just sit back and wait for January to come. So I love that advice. What would you say then? Because you're working with a lot of agents you are working with some newer agents, but you're also working with a lot of agents that have been in the business for 5 or 10 years. What are you finding their number one concerns are right now?
So almost every single person has the same concern, right? Is number 1, they don't have enough time. They all say, I don't have enough time, Krista. I need help with time and time management. Again, because of the shiny object syndrome. And so what I tell them is that when you start a program like mine or any business, like at first you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, right? You're learning a lot of new systems. And I tell them you've got to give it the time it takes now, so that you'll have more time later, right? You've got to put in the time to learn the system. Like, for example, I use Realvolve. I will tell everybody on this call, there's 4 things that I feel in my business that have absolutely catapulted me to the next level. So you should listen right now, because I'm telling you exactly the 4 things that I've done to help my business to be in the top 1% of agents, forever. And that is number 1. I utilize social media and video. Okay. So I use video and I use social media to properly distribute that video. Number 3, I use Realvolve, because Realvolve keeps me organized. It has systems in place, workflows in place. And number 4, I use Carrot. Okay, so Carrot, Realvolve, video, social media. If you can utilize those things and do it consistently and push through the overwhelm and the stress of learning the systems, because yes, it is hard, it takes time. When you get there, you're going to be able to have the time because you have the systems in place to get you through, if that makes sense. So time is a huge factor of it. People will say they have trouble with leads, but we take care of that problem, in a matter of a few weeks. Leads are easy. What's difficult is actually working those leads, maintaining those leads, doing an entire sales system around those leads. And what I mean by that is this, is that people are so interested in getting leads, but number one, generating leads is easy. How do you then nurture those leads? What's your nurture sequence? How are you nurturing them, right? The National Association of Realtors says that buyers and sellers, they don't usually typically make action until 3 to 6 months prior to making the first call. So that means you need a very good nurture sequence, right? So lead generation, step number one. What's your lead? What's your nurture? How do you nurture those leads so they actually become paying clients? They want to work with you, right? That's step number two. Number three, now that you've got the lead, you've nurtured that lead. Now, how do you convert that lead? How do you take that lead and actually convert that lead into a client, right? What is your conversion process? What are you doing to make sure that you take that lead and convert it into somebody, right? Once you've converted that lead, now the fourth step of your sales process is, how do I now take this lead that I finally got, that I've nurtured, right? That I've converted. Now, how do I give it the best experience ever? How do I take that lead and give it the best and most amazing experience? How do I knock their socks off so they will remember me, right? I want to make them an everlasting client. So now I've done that. Now that you've done that, and guess what? Realvolve helps you do that because it keeps you organized. It keeps you systematic. It keeps you calling them and being in front of their face, right? Now that you've nurtured that lead, you've fulfilled it, you've made the best fulfillment ever. Now, how do you get them to refer you? Okay. How do you get them to resell with you? And how do you retain them? Refer, retain, resell. That is step 5. And that is just as important as step 1, because keeping new clients is so much more affordable than getting new ones, right? So how do you make sure that you get your clients after you've got the lead, you've nurtured it, you've converted it, you've given an amazing sales experience? Now, how do you take that lead that is now your client and make it a client for life so that they will always come back to you and they'll refer you to everyone? That's your full sales cycle. And so many people are only concerned with step 1 or step 3 or step 5. They forget about the other 4. You've got to be full circle in the business. I'm a little hyper. Can you tell that? I think I had caffeine or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So keeping existing clients is way easier and more affordable than bringing on new clients. What would you say then? Let's say I've been in the business for, let's just say 5 years. I'm a real estate agent. What do I need to do? Step 1. If I want to have a better year than I had this year, where would you point me? What's your advice to me?
Okay, so step number 1 is pick your platform, right? Is your platform going to be Facebook? Is it going to be Instagram? Is it going to be YouTube? Pick your platform. I believe that Facebook and Instagram right now are the 2 most powerful platforms for real estate agents because of the age group of people that are mainly in those programs are relatable to buying houses. Also, women are highly on Facebook and Instagram more, and women are the decision makers, right? So I would say pick your platform. Mine is Facebook and Instagram. Then once you pick that platform, you've got to figure out how to properly use the platform. How do I use this platform properly to actually expose myself to the masses? Here's what most people do. They just get on a Facebook. They just post on their business page. They're not utilizing the program properly. No one is seeing them. They're not standing out, right? Because Facebook is a business. They want your money. You need to pay to play. So number 1, pick your platform. Number 2, learn to use the platform correctly, right? To actually be seen in front of people. Number 3, incorporate video into that. You need to get people to know you, to like you, to trust you. You need to break down barriers. You've got to use video. Now, here's the thing about video. Here's the thing about lead generation. Is that when you first start utilizing your platform properly and you're using video, okay, you've got to understand something. It used to sit, the term used to be, it takes about 12 clicks, 12 times for someone to see you before they'll click on you. I believe now it's closer to 20 because number 1, there are so many ads going on our platforms. And number 2, there's so much noise and distraction. So you've got to give it the time that it takes for you to start showing up as the expert, right? So your goal, whether you have leads or you have clients or not, if you have houses or even if you don't, you can do this. You start utilizing video, running ads through the proper platform, and distributing yourself out to the masses. Now, the way that you do that, there's a systematic way to do that, right? As far as which objective do you use, how long do you run these ads, which objective for each time frame, and then your goal is to be seen, be seen, be seen. Everyone sees you as the expert. You give advice, you serve, you do not sell, you give value. Anything community or real estate related. They think real estate, everyone say your name. They think you, that's your goal. They think real estate, they think Krista. Make sense? They think real estate, they think Dale. They think, Devin, they think Casey. They think your name when they think real estate or community related. So you've got to start being that community respected advisor, right? You tell them everything about the area, everything about real estate, and you get them to trust you, right? Mm-hmm. And then once you've done this and you've developed this trust, then when you actually run your leads, your lead campaigns, your lead objectives, they're more likely to click on you because you've already developed a relationship with them. But so many people skip that step. They go, I ran this ad, Krista, and it didn't work because no one clicked on me. And I'm like, well, of course they didn't click on you. Your objective when you first start doing this is not to get them to click. It's to get them to connect. Not click, connect. That's the new saying. Not collect, you're getting them to connect. Does that make sense? You want them to connect with you, right? That way, when you do run your ads and you've developed the trust and the respect from them, then they're more likely to click on you. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. So that's a lot of the number one mistake, like you said, that a lot of people make is they start dabbling in social media, and that might as well just be complete waste of time, right? Might as well not do it at all if they're going to dabble. So if you're talking to...
Don't hire a company that's going to post the same thing they're posting on everyone else's page. No one's seeing it. No one cares. It does not work. It's ineffective. Don't waste your $100 or whatever it is. Don't do it because it's not what people are looking for, right? They want connection and they want something different than everyone else is getting. So you've got to really appease to them what's relevant to them. What's relevant to them is their community, their area. What's the best place to take your dog to the dog park? Where's the best place to go to take your wife on a date? Where's the best place to buy flowers? Where's the best place to, how do interest rates affect a buyer? How do they affect the seller? What's the 5 tips a seller can do? All of these things they're interested in, right? They don't care about your posts that 15,000 other agents are posting on their page too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and plus, once you do a really good job of consistently following up with that same group of people, now you have a defensible space. You've got a lot of depth with a few people, and that's all you really need, right?
And so here's the cool thing. So we just actually made 2 new workflows in Realvolve. All right. So we just made 2 new workflows in Realvolve. My training today with my students was this. It was like, you have got to show up and put yourself in the equation. Okay, Realvolve is your tool that you start a workflow in Realvolve. Realvolve says, okay, Krista, today you're going to call Devin, and here's his phone number, and here's his email, and here's the information about him, and then you're going to call these people, right? But you have to actually call, okay? You actually have to actually do the work. Don't let the technology be the replacement of you, right? And you've got to be persistent about it. Do you know the research shows that if you call within 5 minutes, you're 400 times, this is a study from Harvard, this taught this to my students today, 400 times more likely to get that lead on the phone and to work with you than if you wait 10 minutes. 400 times. If you wait 5 hours, Dale, you're 3,000 times less likely to interact with that lead. So what does that mean? That means you need to be present, you need to act, you need to stop, drop, and call, stop, drop, and scroll, stop, drop, and send a video text, right? Got to be present. And leads are simple, but you have got to actually take that lead and now nurture it, right? Yeah. The second part of this, you got to nurture it. You got to do it fast.
Yeah, we've got a whole room of people right down the hall here. I got a whole room of salespeople, and the vast majority of their time is spent on the phone talking to people. Way more than half of their time is spent. And there's a couple of them that'll make 100 calls in a day, no problem, just kind of almost in their sleep. And you better believe if somebody comes in asking about our product or service, we're on the phone with them in under 5 minutes every single time. You've got to do it.
I guess I got to give you a little plug here. It's not because I'm on your call. I really mean this. Realvolve has exceptional work ethic and support. Okay, they are so committed to. They literally have meetings with my team on a regular basis to find out how can we make Realvolve better. What do you need to make it better? What are you doing? What's working? What's not working? We love it. And yes, it's technology. It can be a little confusing in the beginning, but they have awesome support and it works, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just got to tell you, I really appreciate that because you guys take such good care of my students, and I want to thank you.
Oh, thanks for the plug. We appreciate it. Yeah, we love working with you. Your students are the best customers that we have. They are committed. They are process-oriented people. They are ready to dive in and create consistent growth in their business. So it's just a treat.
And they're willing to put in the effort and time it takes, guys.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be willing to put the effort and time in. If you're putting the effort and time in, you're consistent about it, your business is going to, I'll tell you a story. This guy today joined my program a few months back, and I hope he's watching, and he wants a refund for his $1,900. And I said, okay, let me do some research here. Well, first of all, I can tell that you have not showed up for one coaching call. Number two, I can tell that you have not done your any of your challenges that we've given you. Number three, you haven't consistently been posting on your page, and you're not showing up. So I'm not going to give you a refund for your $1,900, which quite frankly is worth $25,000, because you did not do the effort. And now you're blaming me on the fact that you didn't do it, put in the time, right? You've got to do the work, put in the effort, and be consistent about it, because if you're doing that, the results are astronomical for any business, no matter what you're doing. But you have to put in the energy, and you've got to give it the time it takes. And right now, everyone, please hear me. It takes more time. Why? Because there's so much distraction out there, okay? So you've got to know, let me just push through and let me not stop because I don't see results in 2 months. Well, are you going to still be in real estate in 6 months or in 8 months? Heck yeah, you are. So you just keep doing the work so that when you get to the 6 months and 8 months, you're busy.
Yeah, and there's these trends right now. We know in our industry there's some major players coming in. There's a lot of money coming into our industry to commoditize our service as real estate professionals, and they're really good. These companies are really good at processing systematizing what we do. But the thing I love about what you're teaching is you're teaching people to connect, build relationships, and establish that brand presence for yourself in your local market, which nobody can take from you. Nobody can come in and there steal that away from you by becoming efficient. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
Okay, so everyone listen to me. Don't worry about those companies. All right? Like, don't be afraid and freaking out about, sell your home for free or use this. It's people need people in real estate. It's their largest financial investment. Yes, we're going to lose some real estate agents. Yes, they're going to get some of the business, but the majority of people out there, they need human connection and they need help, and they need you to support them and service them and give them advice and walk them through one of the most stressful things that they're ever going to do in their life, right? So for you to become recession proof, Zillow proof, discount broker proof, sell your home for free proof, all of those things, you know what you need to do? You need to keep showing up, keep being consistent, and expose yourself properly. Your job is to become an attention grabber. You've got to get your community to notice you. You've got to get them to see you as an expert. And how you do that is by utilizing the strategies I just talked to you about, right? Using video, showing up in social media, using the platform correctly, using the right objectives, retargeting, creating lookalike audiences. All of that stuff is a huge factor in your success. And if you give it the time and you have the right systems in place, you should have been on the training today, Dale. You would have loved that. If you have the right systems in place, like Realvolve, right, then you're not gonna have any issues. But the problem with most people is they're not willing to put in the effort. They're not willing to, kind of like that guy that wanted the refund, right, after doing nothing and just expecting that, you say your program gets results. Well, it does if you do the work. It does if you actually show up. It does if you're consistent, but it doesn't because you did something 1 or 2 times and expected magic to happen. That's not life.
So what do you do with your team then? So you've got real estate agents that are on your real estate team right now, listing and helping, working with buyers. What's your advice to them? How do you guys go through your goal planning process? I can't speak today. How do you go through your goal planning process with your team?
Okay, so we basically, let me see if I got it here. We just did our goal planning 2 weeks ago. Okay, so we did it at the end of October for the following year, and it starts now. So we basically take what our goals are. And I actually go through this with my students. What are our goals for the year? Like, how many units do I want to do? Okay. What resources am I going to need to get there? So for example, somebody says, I want to close 200 deals, Krista, and right now I'm closing one. Okay. Well, I'm not saying that you can't do that, but I'm saying, are you willing to give the time and investment that it's going to take and the resources that it's going to need to get there, right? So if you're going to be committed to the time investment it's going to take and putting in the resources available. Resources are things like systems, processes, but money, marketing money, ad spend budget, right? If you're willing to do all those things and put in the time, what does the time mean? It means wake up earlier, go to bed later, stop, doing all the time wasting activities like scrolling on Facebook and, letting everyone else's emergency become yours. Are you willing to do all those things? Okay, great. Now let's map it out. So that's your year plan. Now let's map it into every 3 months, right? Month 9 should be where, month 6 should be where, month 3 should be where, right? I need to be at a certain level each month. Then I'm going to say, what should I have accomplished by month 3? To get me to where I'm at by month 12, right? Now, well, where should I be at month 6, month 9, month 12? And then we break it down monthly and weekly, okay? So we have a weekly goal. So because this week, I need to be doing this. So what are the things I need to be doing this week? I need to make sure that I create a minimum of 2 videos this week. I need to make sure that I place an ad budget around each one of $150. I need to make sure that I'm using the right objective, right? So I need to plan my video, shoot my video, get my video edited. Then I need to get my video onto my Facebook platform or my Instagram platform, right? And then I need to put those leads in an action plan in Realvolve. So that I now take those leads and I'm generating like crazy, and then I need to put them on a workflow. Then I need to call them back, right? And again, just by doing that, you're not going to most likely probably get to 200 leads. Okay, you're going to need to do other aspects in your business. So you've got to break down your yearly goal, your quarterly goals, your monthly goals, and your weekly goals as far as what you're going to do to get you there. And let me just say one thing, and I've been saying a lot of things, but give yourself credit for what you are doing right. There was a study that was done at the University of Chicago. And basically what happened was this company, these scientists had read this article in the Family Circle magazine that said, people should avoid change at all costs. Like they should never change. You have heart attacks and strokes and divorce. You should never do change, right? And so he started studying this group of people and he realized that, gosh, certain people, which is exactly 1/3 of people, they deal with change in a positive manner, okay? And what would happen is the 1/3 that were successful, do you want to know what made it different for them? They chose to focus on what was working. They gave themselves credit for little mini successes. They celebrated what was working and focused on that instead of focusing on what wasn't. Because when you focus on what's not working and you stop and you quit, right? So focus on what's working, give yourself credit for it, compliment yourself for showing up, and success breeds success, and you're going to get more of it. So focus on what's working and do more of it. Don't focus, recognize what's not working, but don't make that be your focus. Push it away and focus on what is. And then go laser focused after it.
So when your team members come to you and say, this is what I want to do next year, are you challenging them? Are you stretching them? Or are they all stretching themselves? Both. But
I push everybody. I'm a pusher.
Yeah.
Right? Like my job is to push you. That's my job. My job is to push. I'm a human trafficker. Like I'm supposed to push you. Like that's kind of why people hire me. But more so than anything, I got to say, what a huge factor is, Dale, is it's people's mindset. Like so many of my students will say, Krista, the program's amazing and I love what you're teaching and it works, but more than anything is like my mindset, right? Like they're learning how to control their mind, right? They're not letting instances that happen take over their day. They're learning how to, read their manifesto every morning. I'd love to read that for you guys. Read their manifesto, visualize their day, show gratitude, right? That they're learning how to really be consistent in their activities for the day as well as their mind shift. So your mind is so powerful, and you got to make sure you put good stuff in it. You got to make sure that if you have negative thoughts coming in, that you do everything you can to take those out and replace them with something positive. And I'm going to give you all a little exercise to do. I want you to notice over the next, write down you're going to do this. Okay, for the next 7 days, I want you to promise yourself and commit to yourself at any time, any kind of negative comment or thought comes in your head, whether it's about your business or your marriage or your body or whatever it might be, that you stop, you notice that you do it, and then you replace it with something good. Okay. And you just wait and see what happens to you over the next, and then you're first of all, you're going to be realizing, man, I think negative way too much, or I let these negative things come in, right? So notice it, and then change it around, and you just wait and see what happens. And you say like, oh, I have a big nose. Nope, I love my nose. I have a great nose, right? Or my hair is thin. Nope, I love my hair. My hair actually is getting thicker. I mean, right? Like, no matter what it is, you replace that negative thought about your business or your marriage or your relationship with your kids or yourself or your body image, whatever it might be, with a positive thought, and you just wait to see what happens. It's amazing how powerful your mind is.
So I noticed that you have that manifesto up, and there's people on your team that have that manifesto up behind them as well. What is that? Okay,
so every morning we read the manifesto. Most people should have it memorized. Okay, so I am a community market leader. I'm an unstoppable, I'm not just a real estate agent. I'm an unstoppable visionary. I am revolutionizing the practice of real estate and contradicting the old school teaching method and approach. I am a lifelong learner. I serve, I do not just sell. I strive for excellence for myself and for my clients. I am changing the way real estate is being done and how agents are looked at. I don't rely on traditional measures of getting clients and generating leads. I focus on the future. I continue to push because I know that nothing happens overnight. Did you hear that? Nothing happens overnight. I appreciate overwhelm because it means that I am growing. I push and I give my all, and I will never give up. I have an abundance mindset. I know that I am the only one responsible for creating the life that I deserve, and I am. I am an educator. I am a marketer. I am an innovator. I am a trendsetter. My name is Krista Mashore, and I am a community market leader. That's how we do it, Dale.
I love it. So
yes.
how did you come up with that? Where's that from?
I made it. It's mine. So basically, my coach, Russell Brunson, I'm in the inner circle for ClickFunnels, and he's actually the one who helped me get my 2 Funnel Club award right there. We just applied for our next one last week, so now we'll have 2 within 11 months. And he taught us the importance of, creating a manifesto for your tribe. And so this basically is my tribe. This is who we are. It's what we stand for. It's what we believe. We're community market leaders, and our goal is to be excellent in everything that we do, and also to really give back to the community. So that's us. And so I came up with that on my own, just based upon the culture that I wanted to create and what we wanted to give to the people that we serve in our community. Right? We want to be different, and that's what we do.
So you're encouraging your team to read that every day?
Yes. And I even encourage them to do what I just did, and read it out loud somewhere. Like,
nice.
You're right, Krista.
Yeah, that's a Tony Robbins thing too. Tony Robbins does something very similar, out loud every day to himself.
Yeah.
So one of the things I love about you is that you do a lot of coaching yourself. So you have a lot of your own time and your own money invested in your own personal development, your own personal coaching. Not only that, but you also spend a lot of money on your team to get them continually trained in specialties as well. Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. We just sent Dixie to Realvolve, so she went to the Realvolve training. So I absolutely believe that in order to become better in anything in life, you need to. So people always say, I can't afford that. I can't afford that coaching, or I can't afford that program. And I say, well, you're never going to be able to afford it, because you need the skill to make the money, right? Skill comes first, implementation comes second, and money comes next. It's not the reverse. You don't get the money and then all of a sudden you get the skill. You need to be able to pay for something, and then the skill is developed and learned. I was really afraid to go into coaching. I got to tell you guys, and I hope I don't sound like I'm bragging when I say this, so please forgive me if it does. I don't want it to come across that way. But people would look at me and go, why? My parents were freaking out. Why are you going to stop real estate? You you're debt free, Krista. You're in the top 1% in the nation. Like, you have a thriving business. Why are you going to focus on something else? And I was scared. I didn't, for 2 years, I tried to kind of dabble and just do 20% coaching, and it didn't work, right? I was so afraid that I was going to fail, until finally I just went all in. And my coach told me, Krista, because of your passion and your love for people, you're going to kill it in coaching, but you've got to focus more on your coaching, right? Like, you've got to go all in. Okay. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so scared. But I listened to what he said, and thank goodness, because now I'm doing what I absolutely love and adore. I love people. I love serving. My goal is to help people, and I'm able to do it. And had I not listened to my coach, right, and just done it Krista's way, because he's smarter than I am, and he's a billionaire, right? I wouldn't be where I'm at. So I absolutely believe in personal growth and development. I've spent over $225,000 in the past 18 months on my own personal coaching and development. I know that seems like a lot, but I believe you should spend about 10% of what you make on your putting it back into your mental brain to get you better. So to get where you want to go, you've got to hire someone that's already been there, because you'll get there faster. You'll get there, you'll make more money doing it and make less mistakes. And that's what I choose to do. I choose to hire people that are better at me than things that I'm not good at. And so I eat my own dog food. I tell my students, I would never ask you to hire me if I didn't have my own coach, right? Everything I tell them to do, I do. I read in my manifesto. This morning I'm running up and down the stairs, out loud, saying all the things I'm grateful for: my husband, my business, my kids, my relationships, my health, and then as I'm singing, I'm smiling, I love my husband. As you're doing this, you're happy, and then next thing I'm singing and I read my manifesto and I'm visualizing I visualized my day today. I was like, this call with Dale, and I'm killing it right now, right? This call is going to go awesome. And my coaching call is going to go awesome. The whole day I saw how it was going to be. And my brain gives you what you think. Your brain is built to Dr. Maxwell Maltz, Cybergenetics. If you read that book, it teaches you that your brain is a mental roadmap, and part of what its job is to do is to get you what you put in there. That's why I encourage you to put positive stuff in there, because you get what you think. I'll show you the book, but it absolutely works. I'm listening. Go ahead. Ask me another question, Dan.
Well, I was going to say, we're just about out of time. I absolutely love every minute I have been able to spend with you over the last year, a little more than a year now. And I appreciate your enthusiasm and your drive. Not only that, but all of the hard skills and the tactics and the blueprint that you put out there for all of your students. It's really been inspiring to me. Your book, Sell 100 plus homes a year, is one of the best real estate books I've ever seen. It's very practical knowledge. It's an amazing read. It's not lengthy because it just gets right to the point. So I just love how packed it is with little tidbits there. So you were going to share something from a book, but where can people find more information about you? Where to find you on your coaching business?
KristaMashore.com/help. KristaMashore.com/help. You can go to Krista Mashore Coaching. And I've got to tell you, I really appreciate you saying that, Dale, because we put so much into it. We love our coaching program. We love our students. We are seeing the students that are actually implementing and doing what we're telling them. They are seeing incredible results. Does it happen in month 1 or 2? No, not most likely. They start seeing it by month 3, 4, and 5. You're talking blow up business once they put the time in. And it's you cannot continue selling real estate like you did in the 20th century. We are in the 21st century. You have to change your mindset. You've got to change your techniques. The reason why we used to do open houses and cold call and do all these things is because we didn't have this really cool thing called the internet or Google or social media or video. Okay. So you've got, and it's crazy to me that all these programs are still teaching old techniques, and it's fine to do them, but you've got to start incorporating new stuff into your business. And if you're listening to this, you know what I'm saying is true. You know it's right? Whether you're selling chapstick or t-shirts, or you're an accountant or a lender or a realtor, this stuff works in this matter. But you've got to learn to do things a little differently, right? And even though it's hard and it hurts sometimes, and you're stressed out because you're learning Realvolve and you're doing this, and you're like, oh my gosh, what I say is, you should be thankful that you're feeling overwhelmed, because it means that you're learning and you're growing and you're expanding and you're recognizing that you're sick and tired of being stuck and you want more for your life. But in order for you to get more for your life, you've got to go through the stuff that it takes to get you there. And it takes work. But once you get there, oh my gosh, it's now I seriously have more time than I've ever had for a long time, because I have the right systems in place, right? And I'm eating my own dog food. Absolutely. We only have 45 minutes.
Yeah. What was that book you were going to share? You were going to share something from a book that you pulled out.
I'll show you. I'm going to get my library here.
I just didn't want to waste your whole day. I could sit here and talk to you for hours.
Oh, you're so cute. We don't want to bore people. They're probably like, that lady is crazy right there. Here it is right here. Life-giving blood. Cybergenetics. Dr. Maxwell Maltz.
Got it.
Love him. And it all it is. So you guys, Think and Grow Rich, right? Napoleon Hill, Cybergenetics, Chet Holmes, The Ultimate Selling Machine, amazing book. You guys should all read it. They all are teaching the same stuff. None of this stuff, The Secret, right? The law of attraction. None of it's me. Like, I'm not the one that learned this stuff. It's science. Science proves that your brain is a machine that's built to get you where you want to go, right? It's the truth. So as you're saying something negative, you're like, this is too hard, or it's not working. Well, guess what? It's not going to if you keep saying that. So 7 days, only positive stuff in your head. Notice how often negative stuff happens, and notice how easier and easier it starts to get to become positive when you focus on being positive.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I've personally met probably, 60 or so of your coaching clients, at least 60 or 90 or something like that. And man, the stories that I hear are very inspiring. People are killing it. So if you want to have a killer 2019, go to KristaMashore.com/help, you said, and check out our program. Of course, if you want to learn more about our systems at realvolve.com, go over to our website, realvolve.com, REALVOLVE.com, and start a free trial right there on our homepage. Thank you so much for joining me and spending a few minutes with me, Krista. Really inspiring stuff.
So you guys know that we have, how many workflows do I have on Realvolve? We have like a lot of workflows. One of our workflows has over 169 steps to it. When you join our program, we give you all of our workflows that we've created. It's just taken us over 600 hours to create. We give you those for free. And we tell our students, if you're on this program, you have to do Realvolve because we've already done it all for you. It's already there. Like don't create a new thing when it's already done. So
yeah, it's just a playbook. That's what I love about it. I mean, if you're listening to this and you want to do more, wouldn't you love to know what Krista and her team do to list 151 homes a year? Wouldn't you want to know what they do for their pre-listing listing appointment first? They have the whole listing appointment workflow, all their marketing that they do to get the listings, and they close a lot of their listing appointments. You guys are converting almost all of your listing appointments. Wouldn't you love to know what they do to listing on their listing maintenance? Wouldn't you love to know what they do to follow up their past clients to get more repeat and referral business? They do high volume, and everything is in there all scripted, ready to go for you. So definitely worth a look.
And with that high volume, we still have amazing reviews. Our clients love us because of the systems that we have in place, right? Yeah. So even though I'm not as involved, I know what's going on, but they don't see my face personally. They still are seeing me because all of my workflows has a video of me, and they're saying, hey, right now you're having the home inspection. Here's what to expect. So Realvolve puts my videos in front of them at the exact right time by just me putting dates in. And like if A happens and B happens, or what if D happens and it sends out X, Y, and Z? Does that make sense? Like it's a thinking operating system that enables you to be able to just completely have more time and more freedom, which everybody wants and needs.
Great. Thanks again, Krista. Really appreciate it. If you guys are watching live right now, don't forget to join us next Tuesday for the next installment. We're going to be talking a lot about mindset, how to get your mind right for 2019. You're not going to want to miss that next Tuesday. Watch your email for the notifications. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Krista.